Mystique. Mystique is better than pepperoni. Mystique.
Hey guys, are you ready to mess with some bots again? Well, stick around and learn how to use this stick and much more on this episode of Bot Killer. Now I know all you killers out there would just love to use the stick to pummel the bots, but that's not how this stick works. It's a magic stick, well, sort of, but it is very, very useful. This stick sucks, and that's why it's so good. Basically, it does so little damage when you use the knockback ability, and the cooldown is super quick, that it's perfect for knocking away mobs so the bots can't get the kills. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey Beyond, who's gonna sit there all day knocking away the mobs away from the bots? There's two solutions to this problem. The first solution is that some mobs will actually stay in position once you knock them back, if you do it right. Not all the time, sort of rare, but it happens. The second solution, and more frequently used solution, is to have an alternate character parked nearby that you can send the enemy mobs to for safekeeping. To switch aggro from your active character to your passive character, simply make sure that your passive character is in the way of a cleave or a projectile, and usually it'll pass aggro. Just be sure that you have a very tanky healing type setup. For these projectile type mobs, I have my pet stand in the way of their aiming and just have the pet tank most of the damage. You know, I just want to make mention that if you happen to AFK on one of these alt accounts of yours, that it's not technically giving you an advantage because you're not killing the mobs. So, you know, I just want to slip that in there. I would stay away from scripts though, for sure. As you can see, I've cleared out this area, and the bots are shooting at nothing. I wonder what the loot table looks like for that.
0.
So you're probably thinking, hey, that's not actually killing them. No, well, it's only just making them starve to death. Now you could technically release all of your stored enemies in one big attack against the bots, but it's not guaranteed to work. And when an AFK farmer comes back, what looks more suspicious, this or this? By keeping them alive, they might not notice they're getting less kills, or no kills at all, and thus their botting becomes futile. This strategy, moving enemies from bot nests to anti-bot nests, can be done everywhere, as far as I can tell. Everywhere that I have tried, I've gotten at least 1 or 2 mobs away from bot nests. There's been some places where I've gotten 100% of all the enemies away from them. This is one of 3 major strategies I call the Triangle of Light. Let me give you a brief summary. Kiting. It's been used in multiple games for decades. Moving enemies around the map by holding aggro, and taking those enemies to another player to kill them. It doesn't always work, however. But there are more options. Enemy relocation. If you can't kill them, then take their enemies away so they can't get any loot. If you can resist the temptation to kill, this actually might be the more effective route. And lastly, bot relocation. Instead of taking the enemies away from the bots, you take the bots away from the enemies. You could move them somewhere all by themselves, or you could try using the environment to kill them, making them fall off cliffs, putting them in burning lava, or feeding them to more powerful enemies.
Yummy.
As many of you already know, the bots have adapted to the bouquet and turtle bot relocation methods that I showed you in the last 2 bot killer videos. These were rarely successful to begin with, but they still could potentially work. And more importantly, I'm going to show you a more robust method that the bots will have a harder time adapting to. But first, before I do that, let's focus back onto enemy relocation. Now let me show you where I get the stick from. There might be several places that you can obtain this stick. I get mine in Bloodtide Coast, near the island Sullivan's Wake. Simply kill one of the pirates on this island. One of the pirates should drop a pirate outfit. Simply turn the pirate outfit into the heart vendor here, and it should activate the event. Somebody had already triggered this event, so it made it easy. After finishing the event, the NPC vendor will be unlocked. Nice glitch. I end up buying at least 2 stacks of these just so I don't have to keep coming back again and again. For the characters I use to tank the enemies, I like using Druid. I use the Water Spirit, Stone Spirit, and Spirit of Nature. I like setting the first ability as your autocast ability. That way you have a little extra healing, especially when you have a lot of enemies you're holding onto. For the traits, I use Wilderness Survival for the extra vitality. I use Nature Magic to help my spirits have 100% upkeep time, and also for them to apply longer lasting boons. And Druid, obviously, for healing. For armor, I just find whatever I can that's closest to Minstrel stats, and for the runes, I just use the Superior Rune of Dwayna. Tanking and healing is not my area of expertise. I like hurting, not healing. But hey, I do love your heals. When you're healing me, of course. I'm sure you guys will find something that's better than this build. And if the healing doesn't seem like it's enough, you can always add another account. Let's go back out in the field and see what we can do. Here I have 2 anti-bot nests surrounding this Necro. I'm just finishing up cleaning the enemies that the Necro can attack. That looks good. Since enemy relocation was successful, just for the fun of it, I try to kite all the enemies to the Necro. Solo Necros are pretty strong here, especially in some of these core areas where the enemies aren't that strong. It failed miserably. I think another problem was some of the enemies were aggroed to my pets. It might be one of the downsides of using Druid in this fashion. Some strategies will fail, and other strategies will succeed. And the great thing about having more options is it increases your probability for success. Now it's time to get into the fun stuff and show you another method for bot relocation. ECU. Enemy Control Utilization. As many of you already know, enemies contain their own crowd control abilities, many of which can move the player out of position. For enemies to use these control abilities, they first need to get past the primary engagement zone, or you could call it the death zone, because this is where most of the enemies die. For Necros, it's where their minions engage, Rangers' pets, and traps, and Engineers' guns and turrets. Now the center zone is just as deadly. It's the effective control zone. This is the range at which an enemy can successfully apply a control ability to a bot. And this is how babies are made. Wait, what was I saying? The goal is to get the enemies to this position safely and with enough HP to give them time to use their control attack. Once you get one enemy's control ability to trigger, you know you could do it again. You'll want to try and maintain aggro for the enemy that you're using the control effect for. When the enemy has a pulling control ability, you'll want the bot between you and the enemy. That way the bot is the one that gets pulled, and not you. For enemies that have a pushing control effect, you can be in the middle, or the bot can be in the middle. However, to ensure the control effect is activated, it might be better to be in between. Now you can use the stick for this, but let me show you the real secret weapon. With the 1200 range and 2 charges, the scorpion wire is perfect for pulling the mobs to the right location. Steel will randomly give us extra scorpion wire charges, that is, if we take improvisation from the deadly arts specialization. I picked the trickery specialization to get sleight of hand, since that reduces the cooldown of steel. I like to have dash from the daredevil specialization as a quick and easy way to gain some distance to use another scorpion wire. And that's basically it. Let's go see what it can do, shall we? Yeah, sometimes the bots will kill the enemy before it gets a chance to use its control effect. The bot can't reach anything now. Mission success. Now let's suppose that every time you try to get an enemy close, it dies before it can get off its control effect. What you're going to want to do is try to pull in another enemy first to distract the bot. I recommend trying to find a veteran because it'll last longer. Several script-using bots will focus fire the closest enemy. While it's focusing on the diversionary target, bring in your enemy with a control effect. Don't bring it quite as close, that way the focus fire remains on the other enemy. Sometimes a diversionary target doesn't need to be as close. Here I have my veteran and my enemy that has the control effect. I make sure I leave the veteran closer first. That way the mech will attack it first. Now that the mech is distracted, I pull in the control effect enemy. Now keep this strategy in mind, as this is going to be one of the major tools used for dismantling larger bot nests. And in a later video, I'll show you methods for specific large bot nests throughout Tyria. Alright, let's head back to Iron Marshes. You know, it didn't feel right keeping the bots alive. Even though it made sense tactically, I kept on hearing a voice inside my mind.
Kill them. And don't forget to pick up a loaf of bread and a stick of butter afterwards.
I became overwhelmed with bloodlust and a desire for buttered toast. I decided to head out. I started investigating the local terrain. I found an elevated area to see if I could find a place to drop the bot off a cliff. This looks good. There's only one way to test it. Alright, now I have a plan in place. I'm starting to wonder if my alignment's going to be off or not.
Strong.
Whew, that was close. That could have gone wrong. Aligning the bot onto the ledge is harder than I thought. I could take the risk and try anyways, but the bot might not die. I wonder what I should do. Let me consult the triangle of light. Well, we've gotten enemy relocation to work, and we got bot relocation to work. But kiting ended up failing. However, bot relocation ended up moving us away, changing the variables, and resetting the playing field. Here's what I found because of that. This guy hits like a truck. Finally, some good damage.
I appreciate the help.
Drives me. The steel speaks to me.
Looks like it's killing the minions first.
That fits good.
This random player starts killing the champ. I even offered them a cup of gold, but they don't respond. They might not even speak English for all I know. Or it could be that people get tunnel vision sometimes when they're doing the open world stuff. Seems to be okay because our bot buddy's about to die. The random here wasn't able to kill the champion fast enough, thankfully. There's my first kill today. I still have a couple ideas for this bot, but I don't want this person to res it. I must confess, I'm secretly hoping that this random dies. You like that, sweetie pie? Yeah, you know, I might start saying some silly things if I'm just a little bit agitated. But it's their right to play how they want. They end up killing the champ and leaving, thankfully. Now I can get back to my prey. It's nice to have a little bit of tea and enjoy the moment. An Ascalonian ghost came to see what all the fuss was about. He would have attacked me, but became moved and shed Ascalonian tears. I collected those tears in my hat and spent it on dungeon armor. After dancing on the corpse a little bit myself, I decided to call in Sir Sniffs-a-Lot. He's the creator of the wildly popular Char fetish website. He's been banned from over 20 guilds for excessive sniffing.
You smell like winter berries.
Now all I have to do is call him.
Ooh, I can smell the bot from here. Sniff mode, activate. I smell branded. A lot of dust. You've been sitting there too long. Oh, and a hot bucket that's been sitting out for 5 months.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is churning butter. Sir Sniffs-a-Lot is sure having fun. The sad part is, the bot left. The happy part was they got to see what was happening to their bot. With Sir Sniffsalot's job being done, we parted ways. Before I leave Iron Marshes, I go and check where the main bot nest is usually located. And look what I found. You may be wondering how I'm able to move this bot around. Check out my Bot Killer 2 video to learn the bouquet method, although it is very rarely successful. One type of person I know it'll work on is somebody that is putting something heavy on their keyboard to hold down the button. Latency, frame rate, and even the buff quickness might all affect whether this works or not, with the primary reason being the type of script they happen to be using. I decide to head to Divinity's Reach to try and recreate what one dev did to a hacker years ago. I don't think the bot was ever planning to be in the public square. Hey, it looks like C-3PO senses there's another droid in the area. So he ends up talking to the bot and finds out that he's mad. Well, that's a very astute observation, C-3PO. I explained to him that I can also kill the bot. And then I go ahead and demonstrate it. Wow, C-3PO does speak a lot of languages. He even speaks internet lingo. I end up rezzing the bot and bringing it back to the top, but then I got distracted. You never know what people will say in Divinity's Reach. An Asura comes up to me and says, "You look like the guy that sold me a skooma." I told him I'd give him a more healthier and magical trip. Ouch. I think I hurt my back. Just a typical day in Divinity's Reach. I'm really glad this new recycled desert throne chair came out. Alright, I'm starting to feel like I'm laying down on the job. Better get back to it. I want to thank everyone that participated in the post I made on Reddit about finding bot locations. I decided to head to Silver Wastes, just west of Red.
Back up! I need some backup! I'll take you down with me!
Ah, something worth kiting.
Good. But you still forgot the bread and butter. Yes. Good, good, good.
I'm fading fast.
As I play taps, someone logs in front of me. They start rezzing all the AFK farmers. But that's okay, because once they get rezzed back, their minions will be gone, unless they're using a script, or the AFK farmers return. Well, they got rezzed, but now it's just a fashion show without their minions. I'm pushing them to a place where they will receive condition damage during some events at red. Just in case they have a script that activates their minions after a long time. Once again, I'm trying to figure out a way to communicate. Notice that same guy sitting in the corner, just watching.
Strong.
Look who comes on over as soon as I pull the champion to the bots. He runs around me while I'm down, comes back around, and rezzes the AFK farmer.
Good. Ready, willing, and able.
And here is the story of my life. This is what you do when you've given up on any good loot dropping for you.
I could use a little help.
And the hero of the bots has returned. Now's a good time to explain the biggest threat to your anti-bot endeavor. Triple A. Always Awake Andy.
My name is Andy. I'm gonna res the bots today. Gonna res them tomorrow too. Because I've got nothing better to do.
No, wait. No. That's the song that Andy has in his head of himself. Here's the real story. Hello? Do you mind stepping aside while I get rid of the bots with my stick? No. I'm Awake Andy and I'm not going anywhere. As soon as you kill those bots, I'm going to res them all day. Yes, I just did that. And I'm not ashamed. Okay, cue the battle music. All three techniques from the Triangle of Light will work against Always Awake Andy. Enemy relocation will work if you hide your anti-bot nest really well. Use the terrain, go further out if you can, and even use bushes to hide where you're at. Also consider not relocating all the enemies, just to make them think that everything is A-okay. Kiting works with non-script users, especially with Necros, because when you kill the Necros, the minions won't come back, unless it's Andy's own bots, which could be the case. And if Andy's bots aren't there, then it'll work for bot relocation as well. If you want to get real effective, keep track of when bots are AFK the most. You could even keep a journal, because the truth is, Always Awake Andy is not always awake. Now let's head out one more time to Blaze Ridge Steps, where we'll enter the domain of the Megabot. You know, I'm having a hard time determining if this is a script user or not. Perhaps you can help me. Don't blink. This is how quick it kills. This is so ridiculous, I almost think that I'm being trolled. With a bot like this, I'm always trying out the bouquet and the turtle mount first. The bouquet ends up failing, so I pull out the turtle. Uh-oh. The bot ejects from the turtle. But that's okay because now I know they're using Interact. If you didn't know already, some script-using bots use Interact to loot. It's ultra rare, but it's fun to mess with. Do you guys remember the chair ride I gave earlier? I call it the fun chair. Because we all have fun, land safely, and live to tell the tale. Now let me show you another chair. I call it the death chair. There's no escape now, for you cannot dismount from a chair while in the air. The easy way to do this would be to have a friend fly high in the sky on Skyscale, and then use teleport to friend once the bot sits in your chair. To break the chair, simply consume a cluster of baneberries from Brisbane wildlands. Now all the bot can do is enjoy its final cup of tea. With the strategies I've shown, do you think all-out war is a possibility? Over 10 years ago, an assassin visited Tyria. The gods despised him and his brethren. Driven insane by their decisions,
he ventured into the inner alchemy, where he discovered the triangle of light and the triangle of darkness.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, subscribe. If you'd like to further support me, consider joining with a channel membership. Simply click the join button to view the tiers available and their perks. You'll find perks like custom badges and emojis, early access to some videos, channel updates and voting, and much more.